What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are back on our 2014 Ferrari 458 Spider. This thing has been sitting for quite a while. We've been waiting on some parts, and we actually got some new and we acquired some used parts off the FerrSure Warranty GT3 conversion kit that we're doing to this thing, which is super crazy. But let me go ahead and give you guys a rundown. Right now we're actually waiting on some hardware that we ordered, and as for this front bumper, it didn't really line up with the fender. It is really difficult to acquire another front bumper for these cars because they're either really expensive or really rare. But we are going to be trying to mold a few things on here, probably some carbon fiber and some resin to get this thing aligned perfectly with the fender. Drop your comments down below what you would recommend to fix that. But as for the rear end of this Ferrari, we are actually waiting on some chassis mount, what would you call it?
Wing brackets, I think?
Yeah, wing brackets. There's some nice chassis mounted wing brackets that's probably going to be custom made. So we're going to wait on that before we actually start fully mounting this rear bumper, because we definitely want to mount them first. So that's that for that Ferrari. Video's coming real soon. But as for ours, we're right now going to hop on this front end, remove all these parts that we installed, because we're going to do some final measurements and finally start welding up these front frame rails. Careful there. Beautiful sound.
So what are we about to do? Just swap these cars, swap the positions, kind of get a lot more room working right there?
Yeah, definitely swap the positions and probably throw the quick jacks under there, pick it all up, and completely rip this thing apart. So let's go ahead and remove this Ferrari out of there and put it in there. So now that we got this car from under the lift, now we got a big open space to work. Let's go ahead and raise this car up and start taking it apart. Alright guys, so in order to remove the fenders, we do have to remove this side skirt, and we just removed this little carbon fiber door sill, which is probably super expensive and probably a rare piece to actually buy and stuff like that. So we had to be really careful. It's super thin, so it's really flexible, and it was kind of sketchy taking it off because it was like almost about to crack because it was bending so hard to take this 3M foam stuff right here. But we managed to take it off. It even says Ferrari right there, so super crazy. Very dangerous stuff like this, especially on a Ferrari that has a full carbon fiber kit. You know, you want to be really extra careful. But managed to take it off. Let's go ahead and take these 3 bolts off and remove this side skirt. Alright guys, so we just noticed something weird. We're just about to take off this fender, and you might have noticed some shims. This Ferrari actually has a bunch of like washer shims type things all over the fender just to adjust the height and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy, but I guess that's how they do it at the Ferrari dealership, or I mean Ferrari factory. But anyways, we did notice here at the bottom, we were trying to take off the fender, and the fender is actually welded to the body itself, which is crazy. They look like they put some shims under there and welded it all together at one piece. You see that?
So you're gonna have to do some grinding just to get off this fender, dude.
That is crazy. I mean, I guess that's how they do their body gaps and stuff. They just shim everything up and probably welded that so it doesn't move at all, because that is a pretty perfect gap right here at the bottom.
That's a purty gap.
Yeah, that's a purty gap up here, but when you get up here, it got pushed back some, so there's nothing welded over here. So
you see washers falling all over the place, because there's literally like 2 to 3 washers everywhere underneath the fenders.
Just to adjust the height, everything is just has a bunch of adjustments, like that front bumper, the fenders, and all that stuff. So let's go ahead and probably grab the cutting wheel, cut that weld off, and take this fender off. right, guys, so we just removed both of our fenders, which we had to cut off, which is pretty crazy, but we did notice one of our fender brackets actually completely cracked off, but that is not a big deal. It's just gonna be a simple few tacks here and there, which we'll probably put it right in its original position, so it'll be perfect. As for that side, that fender bracket actually did not completely crack off, but it did crack some of the welds on top. That's probably why the fender was sagging a little bit and touching this door over here. So we won't worry about this now because we want to mainly focus on our front frame rails, straighten them out a little bit, and then weld them straight up. So let's go ahead, set up our welder to argon gas and spool gun and try to get these frame rails aligned and welded in. All right, guys, so we just did some double measurements, triple measurements actually, just went back and forth on both Ferraris trying to line them up as best as possible, and we got our alignment tool right there. We went ahead and aligned both frame rails just to OEM specs, and we went ahead and leveled them out, as you can see, perfectly leveled there and perfectly leveled there. So we are basically 100% ready to burn these suckers in. All right, guys, so we just threw our first major welds and they turned out absolutely amazing. I'm kind of getting used to that spool gun. Right now, we're actually letting it cool off a little bit before we completely burned all the way around it. But we were making sure we transitioned from side to side and top and bottom because metal does expand and contract when heated. So we made sure to keep an eye out on that level over there. Still perfectly leveled on both sides. So right now we're gonna let it cool off before we completely burn around it. Once we do that, we're actually gonna move on to the front and weld it as well.
Alrighty guys, so we got these frame rails 100% welded in. They are super strong. I don't think they're going anywhere. Let me do a quick little test here.
Whoa, be careful up there.
Looks like they're strong, but we haven't welded in our rebar just yet because we almost forgot the little brackets that sit under this frame rail. Got that welded in, and the next thing is to actually rivet that bracket in along with the rebar, and then we'll continue doing some welding. We also brought in our radiator cages. This is a genuine Italian part, but we test fitted it, and we already know that we're gonna be doing a little bit of stretching. You know how aluminum is. This is hand built along with the entire car, so that's expected. So let's go ahead, rivet these suckers in, and then we'll continue welding. We do actually gotta go get some rivets, a rivet gun, and maybe a few other little things, but we're gonna whip the OG Stang. Go ahead and fire her up. Let's take her for a little rip. still got it.
Dang, she was sideways that whole entire time.
Man, this is the go-getter right here. This is the go-getter. All right, so we are here. We should just get some Gorilla Glue or some Flex Seal tape. That stuff will probably hold them frame rails better than anything.
Spray it in, leave it, but we found a little rivet gun. These things never last, man. We need to get one of them pneumatic ones, one of them air ones.
Pneumatic,
whatever you call it.
Pneumatic. But yeah, we definitely need one of those air tool guns.
I actually grabbed a rivet that we're gonna need, so we're gonna need this size, or if anything, a little bit bigger. Let's see what they got over here. I think they just got little sets, which looks like the ones that we need, they only got like 5 or 6 of them.
Let's grab those suckers and
grab like 2 boxes. Never mind, they actually got a little bit more, just some are longer than the others. Yeah, let's grab these suckers and head back to the house. All right, guys, so we are back. Now let's get back to work. All right, guys, so we're still stealing measurements off this Ferrari. Right now, I'm actually trying to measure the pitch of this lower bar for the radiator cage. So right now, I'm gonna see how much of an angle it is and then replicate the same thing on that bar so we can weld this little piece in to hold the end of the radiator cage. So let's go ahead, grab this measurement real quick and go weld it in.
Hey, we need that. Get back here.
He's gonna go measure it for us.
He ain't gonna measure it on the Lambo. Hey, bud, we need this. This is gonna get installed right now. Dealer, there you go. He already...
Oh, dang, he already sanded it for us and all.
Sanded it, everything. Mechanic Max.
Bud. Max, look at this measurement first. Takes off.
He just eyeballs stuff.
He just 1 second eyeball, bam, and it's done, you know?
Bam, man.
So I already know I just need to weld it and hold it just like this because of him.
I just need him to bark one time, and that means go.
Go all the way.
That means full send.
Full send.
Little.
Alright guys, so we got this radiator cage fully welded in. As for this one, we just tacked it in for now because the bar that actually supports the end is bent and it's actually missing a tip of it. So tomorrow we're probably gonna go ahead and try to straighten this out as best as possible and see if we can make it work with this side. So right now it is super late. Hopefully tomorrow we can get this thing completely sanded and maybe even painted. So we're gonna have to catch you guys in the morning.
Alrighty guys, so it is the next day and we still got a bunch of work before we could actually paint these frame rails. The next major thing is to actually weld in these brackets for the fenders. Throw the fenders on, make sure they line up perfectly, and then we just got a few more little pieces to weld, like that bracket right there, and then like a few more little brackets, and that means we'll be done 100% with all of our welding, and then we can run to the store, grab all of our supplies, prep these frame rails for paint, and if we have time, hopefully get them suckers sprayed in.
Alright guys, check this out. We got this fender gap looking amazing, but it's not tacked in just yet because we just bolted it on and using vice grips to hold it in place. The reason why we didn't tack it in yet is because we want to go on this side, weld in this fender bracket, and also align this fender because we want to throw on the hood and make sure the gaps between the fenders are perfect, because whenever we do that, there's still going to be a little bit of adjustments to make over here before we weld this in. So we're going to go ahead, weld all that stuff in, align everything, and then we're going to throw this hood on, and then we'll weld everything back up.
Alrighty guys, check out these body lines, man. They look absolutely amazing. Front bumper and hood gap is perfect. The fender and the hood gap is perfect as well. We did have to flex this bracket right here actually with a crowbar while he tacked it in just to get it right, because this fender did have a little hump in it. But now we are ready to actually weld in the fender brackets. And then after that, we're gonna test fit our headlights, and then we're gonna probably take everything back apart and maybe even start prepping for paint.
Alright, so all the welding is complete, guys. Everything, it looks absolutely amazing. All the brackets on there. So right now what we're actually going to do is go ahead and slap that bumper back on the car, slap the headlights, make sure all the body gaps are aligned. We're going to have to do a little bit of tinkering, align everything, make sure everything is 100% good before we go ahead and paint this whole entire frame rail section. So let's go ahead and grab our headlights, see if we can mount them up. We do have a broken bracket on one of the headlights right here. May have to glue that up a little bit, but for now, let's go ahead, slap this thing together and see how good it looks.
Check this out, guys. So we finally got everything aligned. It looks absolutely amazing. Clearly we don't have our hood latch in here, but that's how it's gonna look. So that gap is perfect up there. As for the headlight, we do have a couple tabs that are broken that we will repair. So we're gonna have a few little adjustments there, but everything is welded in. All the body gaps are perfect this side as well. Man, we have came a long way. We are super excited to make it to this step. The next step is probably gonna be to take all this stuff back apart, sand all these frame rails down. We were hoping to get them painted in this video, but as you know, this stuff does take a long time lining stuff up, especially on this Ferrari, because it's all hand built, lots of washers, lots of adjustments, lots of like bending and moving this aluminum stuff. But that's the next step, is to sand all this down, buy some new paint, and then after we get all this assembled, we're gonna assemble the coolers, everything, inner fenders, everything that's required here, the trunk.
This is a big trunk area.
Big
look at the mess of wires we got right there.
Yo, but the good thing is we got the FerrSure Warranty Ferrari there. We have been getting a lot of tips, a lot of pointers from it. Man, I don't think we would be able to do it without that car. So huge shout out to Russ over at Fur Parts and FerrSure Warranty Services. Man, we are super excited to be doing both of these projects. And here soon, this one's gonna get completed. And then also in the process, we're gonna be wide bodying that one. We're waiting on a few things as we mentioned before, but these are gonna be some exciting projects right here. So with that being said, that is gonna be a wrap for today's video, guys. Be sure to stay tuned. Make sure your post notifications are on so you don't miss out on anything. Also, guys, if you haven't, be sure to follow us on Instagram at goonzquad, where you can get an inside scoop there before YouTube. Also, guys, if you wanna support your boys, be sure to visit goonzquad.com and copy some new merch. With that being said, thank you guys for all the love and support. Be sure to drop your comments and advice down below, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.